Okay, today I'm gonna teach you how you wanna trim your jade plant, how you transplant your jade plant, and how to get your jade plant trimmings to root. What I do with my jade plant, I leave my jade plant in a southern or eastern facing window all year round. Sometimes I take them outside and put them outside, but I'm really scared to get them burned or have them hurt or knocked over by a storm or something. So most of the time I leave them inside. I don't. They're my babies, so I have a hard time wanting to let them outside. Um, but what you want to do is you want to trim your jade plant when it starts getting too heavy to one side, or when you start getting shoots off of the branches. When you need to trim it up to make the trunk a lot stronger. What I did with mine is I had some of these upright ones, and they were completely upright off of a branch that was just branching completely straight off. So imagine the branches, kind of trimming off like this here. And then what I did is I took a really sharp razor, brand new razor, and I cut it flush with the trunk. What you'll end up doing is end up callousing over. When it calluses over, if you just set it in the same window, I just basically set mine down on the carpet. It can't get any water or any moisture from the plant. That if you set it back in the same plant, sometimes they can draw moisture from the plant, then they'll rot and they'll die and all that. You can even put these in the window, but I put mine right in the same window, right in front of the plants, right on the carpet, and you'll get little shoots out of it like this right here. You'll get shoots out of it all over the place, which are the roots, which it's trying to find water, so it'll root. Once it starts to root like this one has been trimmed for about a month. It'll start to root. Once it's able to root like that, you can go ahead and transplant it into something, and this will be a brand new plant from your original plant. Basically a complete clone of your other plant. I have two of them. You can see this one's a little bit more crooked. It's not as straight. So what I'll end up doing with this one is planting it kind of on an angle to straighten it up as it comes out of the new plant. And as you can see, they'll even root out of the very top there, wherever it can basically root out of. You want to make sure you got roots out of the bottom, especially when you're planting it. It'll be a lot easier for you. So now I'll talk to you about the soil. I mix my own in a nice little jug. What I normally do is I do like an 80-20. This is the new Miracle-Gro Cactus Palm and Citrus plant potting mix. Normally I'll use the succulent mix, but this is a fast draining mix too. They're kind of getting out of the succulent mix, so you have to use this. Then I do an 80-20, 80% of that, 20% of perlite. You can get them both at Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, Myers, Walmart, anywhere like that. And this right here just helps the draining and aeration that these plants need, because they only take in water for about 2 minutes and they're done taking in water for weeks. So you don't have to do anything with them. So that's what I mix my own potting mix with. Also, like when I transplant them, I like to transplant them into a 6 to 8 inch pot, just because I don't have to transplant them for a few years if I leave them in this like this, because they like to be root bound anyways. So basically what you'll do is you'll take a pot like this, you'll take some of your potting mix, you'll do about 2/3 of the way up. Do it about 2/3 of the way up. You'll figure out how deep your new plant will go down in. And you can see where it was already calloused at, and it's brown, and then it starts to turn green. You want to put it down in there a few inches, just so that it can have the root structure down lower, so that the plant won't be so top heavy. If it does get top heavy, it won't tip over the root structure, keep it in there. So once you get your soil up there, just give it a little press down a little bit, not to compact it down, but just to give it a slight compacting without the water. Then once you pick it up, you will insert your plant about 2 or 3 inches down. Then you'll press around it like so, and you'll be good to go. your soil will press around just to firm up that top layer to keep that thing as straight as possible, because you want it to grow as straight as possible in here so that it basically just takes on the form of a trunk of a tree, and it'll grow just as fine. It's center in the pot as you possibly can. It won't be center in the pot for long anyways, because they grow all over the place, and so you won't get it at completely center, but as center as you possibly can, and as much as upright in the plant as you possibly can. This one actually will probably end up getting another shoot taken off of it, maybe next spring or fall. So like I like to trim mine sometimes in the fall. A lot of people like to trim them in the springtime, but I like to trim mine in the fall, just because I can leave them sit in the window. The leaves on the trees are falling off, so I'm getting a little bit more sun in the window that I have. It may not be the same as yours, so trim it whenever you think your plant to be is healthy. Then what you need to do after this is just give it a light little watering. Don't overwater it at all. Leave it sit for a week or two, maybe even 3 weeks, without giving it any more water, and then the root system will just shoot right off. Once it finds the soil, it'll just shoot right off. Then all these little bitty roots, those will just crumble off and just crispy off and fall off, and then you'll have a new plant ready to go. So like and subscribe if you need any more tips or anything. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll answer it as best as I can. And like I said, that's transplanting any clippings from a jade plant. Most succulents are the same; they'll go the same exact way. But it's just a big leaf jade plant that I transplanted.